What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm in the house. I apologize if there's an echo. There's nothing in here. It's a house under construction. But today I'm going to be working on the concrete countertops for our kitchen. Jamie said she wanted concrete tops. I said, okay. We got a quote from the granite countertop people and we didn't want to pay that price. She said, hey, I think you can do it. I looked into it, reached out to the ZCOUNTERFORM from Concrete Countertop Solutions, asked them a few questions. We were going to go with them regardless, and they decided to team up with us on this video. They sent us out some product to use for this project, so super grateful for them. They have a bunch of excellent resources on their YouTube channel and on their website. So if you got any questions on this video, if I say something or do something that isn't super clear, they've got a bunch of great info over there that you can check out as well. So the purpose of this video is, one, for us to get our tops, concrete tops done, because the plumber's got to get in here. But secondly, just to show you that somebody with no concrete experience can make some concrete countertops. So I'm going to try to go through step by step, but like I said, this is my first time doing it, so I'm probably gonna leave some stuff out, and that's where concretecountertopsolutions.com will come in, where you can fill in the gaps. But without further ado, let's get to the DIY concrete countertops. Let's go. Step one of this project is going to be cutting the Dura rock, hardy board, whatever you want to call it. It's cement fiber board that is the base for this project. So I'm starting with the island. Our island is going to have like about a 12-inch overhang. So these are 36 inches wide, and the forms give you the 1.5-inch overhang that you need. So if I left this the way it is at 36 inches wide, that would cut down our walking path a little bit over here. So I'm taking 1.5 inches off of 2 pieces for the island. This is just going to be very specific to whatever layout you have, but I need to cut the island piece, and then I'm going to cut all the other pieces. And once I get them all cut, I'll show you the layout, because every cut is going to be the same, so I'm not going to show me cutting and measuring every piece. But there's a couple of things to note on the range area and then the sink area. So once I get all these cut, I'll just go around and show you the slight differences and details that you need to pay attention to. So I'm going to get this cut. I've got a hardy blade, a Diablo hardy blade, and the circular saw. I've already got my 34.5 inches marked out, and I'm gonna get this thing cut. As you can see, it makes a lot of dust. I should probably have a mask on, but iPro's a must. It kicks up a bunch of little pieces. But keep that in mind. If you're doing this in an existing house, you might want to make these cuts outside. But there's the gist of it. That blade cuts pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect because the forms are going on the side. So if the line isn't perfectly straight, which that was not, it's pretty close, but it wasn't. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna lay these out. I'm gonna get them secured. As far as tacking these down to the cabinet tops, I'm just putting a bead of silicone on there. That way if they ever need to be taken off for any reason, they can, I guess, come off. But you could screw them down to the cabinets if you wanted to. we just have 1/2 inch, all the cabinets are made out of 1/2 inch material for the most part, so I don't really want to send a screw into that or miss, and so I'm just going to silicone them. The weight of the concrete will be plenty to hold them down. So enough of me blabbing on. I'll check back in once all of the pieces are cut and they're on there. Alrighty, so I just cut all the Dura, made a giant mess. I'm pretty sure you can cut this stuff with a knife by hand if you'd like to. It'd take way longer, but definitely wouldn't create nearly as much dust. But as far as cutting, you're just measuring the cabinets. So all of our cabinets, they're 24 inches deep, so I cut the Dura at 24 inches wide. You know, it just goes from wall to refrigerator panel. The island, same deal, it's just flush. I've got 2 pieces here, so I'm gonna put some tape, and then that'll be plenty to seal it. The only spot that is different, and you're not taking just the exact measurements of the cabinet, is near the range. So on these inside portions, you don't want to see the edge of the Dura, so I just cut it back a little bit shorter. So I think this was a 33-inch wide cabinet base, and I think I cut them at 32 5/8. So that way, when I just put a flat edge here, I'm just going to screw a flat edge to the inside of this cabinet. The concrete will flow over and fill this void here, so that you won't see the Dura from the side profile. But that's it, super easy. The stuff cut super easily with the Diablo blade, the Hardy blade in there. So I'm going to put some silicone down to just secure them in place, like tack them in place, and then I'm going to start cutting the forms. So I don't feel the need to screw them down because the weight of the concrete will be plenty sufficient for that. But yeah, next step, moving right along. I started messing with the forms, and let me tell you what, I'm not a pro, so figuring out these miters, a little frustrating. So I think I've got my system down where the cuts are pretty accurate. The island obviously has a lot of mitered cuts, and then anytime where I'm splicing them together, I'm splicing them with 45s. So this half of the island is done. Let me bring you a little closer and show you what I'm doing to get the miters very, very close. They recommend taping all of the seams with duct tape anyway, so that's what I'll be doing after the everything is down. I'll duct tape all the seams. Just like I duct tape the seams, this seam and that seam over there. Trying to do this one-handed and it's not working out very well. All right. So here is my seam there with the 2 pieces. This is what I've been doing, and I did it over here and it worked well. I got accurate cuts. Take my little speed square, just scribe the 45 in the corner. I did it in this corner as well. As you can see, the line is creeping out here. So with this end butted tightly into this seam here, I'm just going to take my speed square, put it up on the inside edge, and bring it up to the line. And then when it's on the line, I'm going to scribe it right there, and then I'm going to make that cut, and it's going to work out great. Now this is the square edge form. So I don't know how that method will work with all their other fancy edges that they have, but for the square, that works. So let me get this cut, and then I'll screw everything down. I'm just using 5/8 inch spax screws to screw these down into the Dura rock. Goes in super easy. So let me cut this. The shadow line on this saw, super nice. Golly. For the countertops by the range, it's a little bit more tricky, I think, than the island was. So these backer pieces now come into play. They are just square edged here. They're going to require you to notch out one side, the whole bottom here, up to the height of one of your regular square edges, so that they can be at the same height and butt up to each other. Now I'm hoping that you can see this. I'll zoom in here in a second once I get everything secure, but that's going to overlap there. And then on the inside, let me just show you the other one that I did. So there is the cutout there. This is fine, there's no way to avoid that. And then on this side, you're just using I'm using, what is this, a 1x6 or 1x8, and it's just flush. I couldn't use the backer because it wasn't tall enough. So this is flush here and flush back there. So 90 cut, 90 cut, 45, 45, 90, 90 with the notch. This side was a little bit trickier just because I had the door casing. So I notched it out. That'll slide right back in there like that. This will slide over here, and then I'll have another 45 here with a 90. That's already cut, and I'll have another, I think it's a 1x8 smash up right there. So yeah, that is the gist of it. It's not too difficult, it's just something new. So I am playing the trial and error game, like I am with this camera, as I'm doing it. But that's like any project. The other day I was getting frustrated on the tractor using the loader because it was the first time I was using it. And my dad said, well, if you were a pro at it, that means you had done it before. So I always have to remind myself that when you're doing new stuff, you just gotta roll with it and know that it's not gonna be perfect, even though when I looked at this, I thought cutting 45s and putting it together, it should be pretty simple. And it's a little bit more complicated than that, like it normally is. So I'm rolling through it. I'm gonna get these done. I'm trying to get all the forms on. It's very bright on the camera. I got a lot of natural light coming in here, but it's actually getting pretty late, and it's cold here in North Carolina. So I'm gonna try to get these last few done so I can get out of here and finish up prep tomorrow morning and pour tomorrow for sure. These gotta get poured because we've got things waiting on these countertops. So they'll be poured tomorrow, but back at it. Day 2, just measured out for the sink. I'm gonna cut the sink and the faucet knockout, and then it's gonna be time to just button things up, and we'll be one step closer to pouring. So I'm gonna do this. Gotta have iPro cutting this stuff because it slings a little cement board everywhere. Being completely honest, putting the sink and the little faucet knockout in was a giant pain in the butt. But I got it. I had to shave down the faucet knockout because I didn't have a 2 5/8 inch hole saw bit. I only had a 2.5. So then I had to shave down the knockout. The sink form, you gotta cut it. It doesn't come with any instructions, and it's not bendy enough to just send it around. So I took the inner dimensions of the sink, cut those 4 pieces, and then taped the inside and ran a bead of silicone around the outside edge. Filled the inside with some packaging that the sink came with, some cardboard and just some leftover pieces of the Dura rock just to hold it down. That way no concrete will get into the sink, and if it does happen to spill over, it'll catch onto the cardboard and not get on the sink itself. So now I am ready to lay in the fiber mesh. So I'm gonna do that. I think I should be on the home stretch and be in the clear. So I'll do fiber mesh, tape all the edges, all my seams, and put silicone anywhere that I think it is necessary. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to stay patient. This is not my area of expertise, and it is kind of kicking my butt, but we're gonna make it happen. So on to the next step. It's chilly this morning, but this is day 3. Should be the final day here. I'm getting ready to pour these countertops. So just a recap. Cutting the Dura rock first, cutting it to just the exact dimensions of your cabinets, except for the range area where you're leaving that little bit of a space so that the concrete will cover the edge of the cement board there. Then getting all the forms on, cutting your 45s, putting the backer pieces on. Now I did remove 2 pieces over here on this sink countertop. I removed the side pieces because I didn't want to see that edge up top. I think it's going to be fine. There wasn't like clear direction on whether or not you put that stuff on the side. So I had it there, but I took it off because I don't want to see the little black line at the top of the countertop. So once I did that, then it was duct taping all of the seams, all of the corners, all of the 45 seams on the edges. There's only 3 of them in this whole kitchen here. And then taking some silicone and filling any larger gaps where the concrete might escape. Then it was putting in the clips in the fiberglass mesh all the way around, making sure that it's pretty taut, no super high or low spots. And then it was putting plastic around all of the cabinets on the floor, getting it ready to pour. And I think we're at that point now. So take this camera outside. It's a little windy, so it's probably not going to be the best audio. But we're going to mix the liquid ZCOUNTERFORM with some sand topping mix and some water in a 5-gallon bucket and get this thing poured. It's gonna take a lot of concrete, so let's go do it. Mixing this stuff is super easy. First start with 2 quarts of water. Then 1 pack of this. Give that a nice mix. Two more quarts of water. £60-pound bag of Quikrete sand topping mix. Put about 3/4 of the bag in. Mix. One more quart of water. So that's 5 total. plan for the rest of the 60-pound bag in. Mix it till it's a pancake batter consistency. And then for ease and control of pouring, I'm just putting half of this in another bucket. Now it's time to pour. So I'm mixing everything up in one 5-gallon bucket. I'm able to get the whole mixture in one bucket, but then I'm just transferring it to 2 so that it's easier to manage. Because the first area that I poured there, I was splashing the wall a little bit too much with my pour, so trying to divvy it up a little bit. Basically pouring it and then just spreading it out a little bit before I go mix up some more. But if you're gonna do this, you should definitely have 2 people. Somebody mixing and pouring and somebody working the concrete. Because this is a little stressful, not gonna lie. Because I feel like, even though I know it's not like this is gonna set in 15 minutes on me, I'd still feel the stress here. This island is going to take a ton of concrete. I apologize for the sporadic camera action on this. This is not a one-man job, and I'm doing it by myself. So if you're going to do this, have somebody else, because it's a lot of back and forth checking on the concrete, mixing, pouring. It's just a whole lot. But I wanted to make sure I touched on this before I forget. So once you have everything poured and it's set, you want to take your little tool or whatever you got, and you want to go down and tap the edge of the form, and that's going to get any bubbles out that are along the edge. From what I've read on their website, this square form typically doesn't have any issues with air pockets. Just by tapping this, that usually removes them all. But with their like fancy and double fancy edge, you're gonna get little air holes. So they make a repair kit. I'm not worried about it. If there are little like air pocket holes on the edges, that's fine. It's concrete, so that's the look we're going for. But this is done. I just used the magnesium float on the island. I got lucky because I think I was on the tail end of that where it was gonna be too late for that, and I caught it just in time. I thought, oh, I should probably do that. So I need to go do the other spot by the range before that gets too hard, and then I think the second countertop by the range will be ready for a steel trowel. So this has got to dry for a while, but definitely have more than one person. So even with this one, I think I waited a little bit too long, but I don't really have a choice because I was doing it by myself. So it's just gonna take a little bit more pressure and more passes to fill in all these little holes. Just going with like a half circle motion, back side of the trowel down, front maybe 1/4 of an inch up. I'm trying to just smooth it out and also fill like all the little pinholes. Once you use the magnesium float on the countertops and the concrete hardens a little bit more, it's time to use a steel trowel. So I've got a damp wet rag here that I'm gonna just, if I get a bunch of concrete on here, I'm gonna wipe off, but this should get it even more smooth, and this will be the last step for the actual tops, and then we'll leave them be. So I'm gonna do the island here, and hopefully by the time I finish with the island, the sink area will be ready for the magnesium float. Hopefully it'll work out that way. Same thing, half moon pattern, leaving the front edge up about 1/4 of an inch. Can use a little bit more pressure here. Just want to be careful not to dig into it because it's going to be hard to fix at this point. Even though I'm probably doing this on the early stage, so if I dig into it, I can probably still fix it. All the tops are looking pretty good, so we're gonna give them about 48 hours, I think, before I take the molds off and start sanding. So they'll probably be good to go tomorrow, like as far as messing with them and that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna wait 48 hours and then take all the molds off. So there we go. All right, y'all, the DIY concrete countertop project is complete. And I must say I'm pretty happy with it. I've never worked with concrete before, so I knew it wasn't gonna be perfect, but it was actually pretty simple. I did have some cracking on some of the edges and the corners, but we're going for a rustic feel in this house, so it fits right in. The ZCOUNTERFORM product, super easy to use. The only tricky thing throughout the whole project was getting the miters. That was about it. And to be honest, I don't even think you need to use the miters if you're just doing all square corners because you tape them off anyway. But the finish, the aqua thane finish that I used, just rolled on pretty easy. With the countertops and the hearth, I ended up getting 3 coats on everything and 4 coats on the island itself. So plenty of coverage there. I've got a cost breakdown coming up for you here in just a second. I'm gonna go back to the tiny house tonight, list everything out as far as materials, tools I used, and try to make a comprehensive list of everything that you need so that if you're pricing out countertops for your kitchen or a bathroom vanity or something like that, it hopefully can help you determine whether that is efficient and if it's something that you want to do. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Honest opinion here. Would I do this again? No, I wouldn't. As a one person doing everything myself project, no, I wouldn't do it again. So if you're gonna do this, definitely have at least 2 people, and just know that it's gonna be different. I'm not a true DIYer at heart. I don't love doing everything myself. If a professional can do it well and do it at a number that fits my budget, I am more than happy to pay somebody else to do something that is not my specialty. And concrete is not my specialty, so I did not thoroughly enjoy this. But we did save a lot of money. It's cool that I did it because this is our new home. And so for those reasons, it was worth it. But would I do it again? I don't think so. Maybe for an outdoor project, like just a regular rectangle, but doing multiple surfaces, pouring, mixing, doing all that stuff myself, no thank you. But here comes the cost breakdown. Hope it's helpful for you guys, and we'll see you on the sign off. All right, y'all. Obviously, I didn't record this portion of the video directly after doing the countertops because I don't have a mustache. The tiny house is empty now. I just got done cleaning it because we're trying to sell it and we're getting ready to move into the house like tomorrow. So I need to get this part of the video recorded onto the computer and get the video uploaded because our internet situation is gonna stink at the house for the next like week and a half, and I wanna get this video out. So this price breakdown, if I can find links to things, there'll be my like Amazon associate stuff in the description. So if you want to buy some of this stuff through my link, that helps me out. And all of these prices, I'm breaking this down as if I paid for everything. Now, Concrete Countertop Solutions, they did provide like the forms for us and the finish for the project. So they did cover some of it, not all of it, but most of it. So it would still be completely worth it if they didn't supply anything though, because let's get over the big number here that everybody cares about. So our countertops, the 2 range areas, the sink, and the large island was 56 square feet. Total cost for me to do it by myself with materials, so not including labor, was $1,046. So that comes out to about $19 a square foot. Now you might be thinking, that's kind of high. Well, the fake concrete tops that we were quoted, that were only going to be like an inch thick. So these are nice because the edge make it look like it's about 2 inches thick, like it gives it a much beefier look. Well, the regular countertop people, they quoted us $3,300 for that 56 square feet. So we saved a ton of money. And honestly, if you did this project with 2 people, it would be a breeze. It'd be very, very easy. I did every aspect of it by myself, which made it kind of a pain in the butt and had me a little sour at certain points, but it really wasn't bad. So just over $1,000 was the total cost. I'll run through a quick breakdown in case you're wondering, but I used, for the 56 square feet, I ended up using 13 bags of the sand topper mix. I bought way more than that, but I ended up only using 13, and I think I used an additional 2 bags because I did the hearth at the fireplace as well. But 13 bags of the sand topper mix, $98. We did one full kit, edge kit, from Concrete Countertop Solutions. So a full kit is $250, and we calculated our countertop areas to have 64.5 linear feet, which included back walls as well as the edges. So a full kit covers 64, but I had plenty left over. The sink form, $30. The fiber mesh, $50. I only needed 1 roll. I've got plenty left over. Z-clips, I got 2 packs, $40. I have a bunch of Z-clips left over. I needed more than 1 pack though. A faucet knockout, that was $15. The Liquicrete, which is what I mixed into the sand topper mix, I only needed 13 because I only used 13 bags of sand topper mix, but you can't get 13. Well, you can buy it in packs of 6 or 1. So I think it was 15 is what the number came out to, and that was $240. The ZCOUNTERFORM M35, that is the finish that we used on the concrete countertops. So that finish is the finish that changes the color the least and keeps it the natural color. That was $50. The cement board, I used 5 sheets. They are 3x5 sheets, 1/2 inch thick. That's $55. Screws, you can get them on Countertop Solution website, or you can just buy them yourself, like 5/8 inch screws. So that's about $26. I needed a couple of packs of those. Silicone, $15, just roughing it for like 2 or 3 tubes of that. That'll be plenty. 5-gallon buckets, 2 5-gallon buckets is $10. And this number right here too is including a nice corded drill and a mixer. So a nice corded drill, like a DeWalt, is going to cost $70. And one of those little steel mixer things, that's not bad, it's only $10. You could probably get away with using a cordless drill. Just make sure you have a lot of batteries because it's a lot of mixing. But it's way easier with a corded drill. You don't have to worry about that. Some duct tape, $8. Plastic sheeting, just so that you don't get it on your cabinets or on your floors or anything like that, $25. And then 2 things that you probably don't have unless you're working with concrete. I had to purchase these as well. A magnesium float, which is $35, and a steel trowel is $21. So, like I said, overall it was just over $1,000, around $19 a square foot, and we were quoted $3,300. And that was quoted, so it might have been even more than that. But we saved a lot of money. We saved a little bit more because ConcreteCountertopSolutions.com was generous enough to team up and send the edge forms and the knockouts and all that good stuff. So they turned out great. They look even better now that we have like the range and refrigerator in and that kind of stuff. So it was a good project. But thank you guys for watching. Hope that was helpful. And just so you know, I had it all written down right here on this nice cardboard notepad. But that's a wrap for that one. So thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do so, because we have a ton of content coming up, because this is now my job. I am full-time, if you didn't know already. Still very much product-based business, but YouTube does help out a little bit, and it's fun to produce videos for you guys and keep you in the loop on what we're doing. But we got a lot coming up, so give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Drop any questions or general comments below, and I think that's it. Thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one.